In this lesson, we will learn about global catalog functions. First of all, we will learn about the global catalog search function, then the universal group retrieval function. After that, we will learn how global catalog enable UPN logon, and finally, we sum up our lesson with the keynotes. Let's now learn about the roles of global catalog servers. As you know, global catalog servers enable us to search across multiple domains in an ID forest. To see how it works, let's do a quick search for user A. To do that, we need to right-click on the domain and click Find. In the name box, we type in user A. Currently, we only search for objects in the domain it-lifeskills.local. Let's hit enter. And we found the user with the name root user A. Let's open it and click on the account tag. As you can see, the user is in the domain it-lifeskills.local. Let's close this. Now, let's change our search scope. As you can see, without global catalog server, we need to select each domain and search for the objects in that domain. However, with global catalog server, we can select entire directory. When we select entire directory, which means we search in global catalog, let's click Find Now. As you can see, along with the root user A, we also found user A. Let's open user A and click on the account tab. As you can see, the user A is in the domain hq.it/lifeskills.local. Let's close this. So by searching global catalog, we find objects in multiple domains at the same time. Let's now learn about the next role of global catalog servers, which is to verify universal group membership in a multiple domain ID forest. However, before learning the details how this role functions, let's check a few things in our environment by using this script. Let's run the first command. As you can see, we are on the domain controller gpvdc01. Now let's run the second command. So this command is to get the detailed information on this group. And we have the universal security group with the name security admin universals group, and it is in the domain it-lifeskills.local. Now let's run the third command. So this command is to get all the member of this group, and we only have one group with the name security admin global group, and it is in the domain hq.it/lifeskills.local. Now let's run the fourth command. So the fourth command shows us that we have the universal security group with the name server admin universals group, and it is in the it-lifeskills.local domain. Now let's run the last command. The last command shows us that this group has the member as the user A in the domain hq.it/lifeskills.local. Let's now continue to verify our environment using this script. Let's run the first command. As you can see, we are on the domain controller LHPVDC03. Let's run the second command. The second command is to get the detailed information of this group, And we have this group is a global security group in the domain hq.itlifeskills.local. And let's run the third command. The third command is to get all the members of this group, and we have only one member, which is user A in the domain hq.itlifeskills.local. Now let's run the fourth command. The fourth command is to get the permission on C documents security folder of LHPVDC03 for security admin universals group in the domain IT life skills, and it is granted with the allow, read, and execute. Now let's run the last command. So the last command is to get the permission on C documents server in LHPVDC03 for server admin universals group in IT life skills domain, and it is granted with allow, read, and execute permission. Let's explore the physical structure of our AD environment. As you know, we had three sites: Chicago site, which has CPVDC01 as a global catalog server; Aurora site, which has OPVDC01 as a global catalog server; and Elgin site, which does not have any global catalog server, but it has LHPVDC03 as a domain controller. To make LHPVDC03 response faster to logon requests, we will configure universal group membership caching on LHPVDC03. To configure group membership caching on LHPVDC03, we need to open Active Directory, Sites, and Services, and click on the Elgin size, and then right-click on NTDS size settings, and click on Properties. And here we just need to check in the box Enable Universal Group Membership Caching, and we need to choose the Refresh Cache from the Aurora site. Then click OK. That's it. Let's do a recap on our environment setup. In the domain hq.itlifeskills.local, we have user A and the security admin global group, which has user A as a member. In the domain itlifeskills.local, we have security admin universals group, which has security admin global group as a member. We also have the server admin universals group in the domain itlifeskills.local, which has user A as a member. In the C document folders on LHPVDC03, we have two folders: the security folder, which is granted the read and execute permission to the security admin universals group, and the server folder, which is granted the read and execute permission to the server admin universals group. Now, when user A log on from a PC in Elgin site and is authenticated by LHPVDC03, let's analyze how the PC can generate a token that includes the sysid of the security admin universals group and the sysid of the server admin universals group. When user A logs on with his account from a PC in Elgin Science and is authenticated by LHPVDC03, the PC sends the sysid of user A and requests a list of sysids that user A is a member. Upon user A is authenticated, LHPVDC03 reaches from the hq.itivelifeskills.local domain a list of global group sysids that user A is a member, and it finds security admin global group sysid. LHPVDC03 also can retrieve a list of domain local group sysids that user A is a member. However, because user A is not a member of any domain local groups, so LHPVDC03 does not find any. Next, LHPVDC03 requests the nearest global catalog server, which is LPVDC01, to find all the universal groups that the security admin global group and the user A are the members. Upon receiving the request, LPVDC01 searches in all universal groups in the forest and it finds the security admin universal group that has the security admin global group as a member. And it also finds the server admin universal group that has user A as a member. OPVDC01 then returns the security admin universal group sysid and server admin universal group sysid back to LHPVDC03. Since LHPVDC03 is configured for universal group membership catching, so it catches both the security admin universal group sysid and server admin universal group sysid for the next time the user A logs on. LHPVDC03 then sends a list of sysid which contain the security admin global group sysid, security admin universal group sysid, and server admin universal group sysid back to the PC. The PC now can build the token for user A with all the sysid it has. The next role of global catalog servers is to allow UPN logon. Let's analyze a logon request in this Active Directory forest to see how global catalog servers allow users to log on using UPN in a site that does not have domain controllers serving the user domain. For example, when user A logs on with the UPN root.usera@itivelifeskills.local from a PC in Elgin site and is authenticated by the domain controller LHPVDC03. Upon receiving the request, LHPVDC03 finds the UPN suffix itivelifeskills.local does not match its domain hq.itivelifeskills.local. So LHPVDC03 contacts the nearest global catalog server, which is LPVDC01, to request the distinguished name of the root.usera@itivelifeskills.local. OPVDC01 uses the user principal name attribute root.usera@itivelifeskills.local to look up its distinguished name and return this value to LHPVDC03. IPv DC03 extracts the distinguished name and find the user domain is itlifeskills.local. It then informs the PC that it needs to contact a domain controller in the domain itlifeskills.local. The PC then requests its DNS server HPVDC03 for a domain controller in the domain itlifeskills.local and get the answers that the domain controller in the domain itlifeskills.local is cpvdc01.itlifeskills.local. The PC then sends the logon request to cpvdc01 and gets authenticated. Here we are at a PC in Elgin site joining to the domain hq.itlifeskills.local. To verify, we need to type in the user principal name root.usera at itlifeskills.local. As you may notice, after we type at itlifeskills.local, the domain name changed to itlifeskills.local. Now let's type the password of the account root.usera, then hit enter. As you can see, we have just logged on successfully to the PC with the account root.usera at itlifeskills.local. To verify this PC is in Elgin site, let's open command prompt. Then we type in the command ipconfigure/r. As you can see, the IP address of the PC is 10.20.1.100, and here is its subnet mask, and the PC is using HPVDC03 as its DNS server. To verify, we need to ping the domain controller HPVDC03, then hit enter. As you can see, the IP address of the domain controller HPVDC03 is 10.20.0.13, which is the DNS server of the PC, and it is in the same subnet with the PC. This is the end of this lesson. Let's read the keynotes